How's it going, everyone? Dave Brown back here with the New Populist. Thank you again for joining me. Today's video is going to be on the Daniel Penny trial. Obviously, this is a criminal trial, not something I usually go into, but because of the way things are these days, this case is very, very political. And conservatives are on one side of this case, and liberal progressives are on the other side of the case. So, seeing as it is very political, I figured it'll be worth talking about because it's interesting, this case, and I think people are running on emotions rather than facts, and that is very dangerous, especially when we're talking about law. You don't want to see emotion getting involved. When it comes to criminal law, people's lives are on the line, and we need to be very careful. Now, let me qualify this video by saying this. Daniel Penny is not a bad guy. Not a bad guy. Everything we've seen from him, ex-Marine, a bystander trying to protect women and other people on this train. So I have absolutely zero against Daniel Penny, or Daniel Penny. Keep saying his name wrong. And then we have Jordan Neely, the guy who was on the train who was killed. And he was a crazy, violent bum. That sounds mean, but that is the truth. So I do not wish death on anyone. However, Jordan Neely not being here, I am not losing any sleep. And back to Daniel Penny, he is not a threat to society. So I just want to say that before I do the rest of this video, so people aren't confused about how I feel about Daniel Penny personally. So I am evaluating this case purely on what the law is and what we're legally allowed to do. And talking about emotions again, in this particular case, I think it's the conservatives who are not separating their emotions from the law. We see this also with George Floyd in Minnesota. I personally think that Floyd likely died from overdosing, not from the knee. However, I thought that the police officer in that case, he was a little callous in not providing attention to a guy who was not moving and handcuffed. I do not think he deserved 20 years in jail, but I wasn't against him getting some sort of penalty criminally. Very small, but I wasn't against it. And I think the reason why conservatives are so frustrated is that criminals are running wild, it seems. The last 4 or 5 years since George Floyd, the police are standing down. They're not responding to as many calls. They're afraid of being attacked if they kill somebody in the line of duty. And because of this, the criminals are going crazy. And people are very, very frustrated. And I don't blame them. I live in the suburbs. I avoid the cities for this reason because I can't stand seeing these criminals just looting places, shoplifting, being crazy on the streets, and people, it seems, won't do anything about it. And the cops are like, we're doing the very bare minimum. All we want to do is get through the day and go home. We don't want to be on the news. The next cop who is being charged with murder for defending himself against a violent criminal. So I understand why people are annoyed and frustrated, and they should be. Now, this case, Jordan Neely, Daniel Penny, what happened? Well, we had Neely come on the train, and he was being belligerent, screaming, yelling, being crazy. And if you've ridden the train, this is a very common occurrence. Now, thankfully, I haven't been on the train for a very long time, but there was a time when I took the train to work every day. And every once in a while, not usually during rush hour, usually this happens later at night, but even during rush hour, every once in a while, you would have that crazy guy come on the train, start talking to himself. He's shadow boxing in the corner, doing push-ups, and everyone in the train pretends like we don't see him, although we're all watching, eyes peeled, to make sure that he doesn't do anything too crazy. So it's a very common occurrence. And I'm from the DC area, so I'm talking about the DC trains. But if you're in New York or Chicago, you definitely know, if you ride the train every day, that these are pretty common occurrences. Now, Neely wasn't touching anybody, but he was being threatening, to the point where Daniel Penny decided that I'm going to step in and grab this guy, which is what he did. And there's a video of him doing this. I'm not going to show it. I'll just describe it. And to describe it, I will show you what the New York Post said. It said here that the video of the fatal subway encounter so convincingly revealed Neely had died from the maneuver that no toxicology result could have changed my opinion. This is the medical examiner. The footage shows the former Marine keeping Neely in the hold. He has a neck hold for 6 minutes, including 51 seconds after his body went limp. So Penny takes him down, puts him in a hold for 6 minutes, and according to the New York Post, the video shows him that his body was limp for about 51 seconds before the hold was released. And this is, for me, essentially the problem. You have a right to take someone down. The problem is, how long can you hold someone's neck? That's the issue. Now, when I was younger, I worked in security, and I have been in hundreds of physical confrontations. I grabbed people, but there was a rule I had, not just for myself, but for my coworkers. The neck, I've grabbed it on a few occasions, but I never held it for more than 5 seconds. That's it. 5 seconds, get the person's attention, get them to freeze, get them to stop doing what they're doing. And after about 5 seconds, I let it go and use a different maneuver. And why was that? I was petrified of accidentally killing somebody. So I had that 5-second clock. 5 seconds goes by, I let it go. Penny held it for apparently 6 minutes and 51 seconds after the guy went limp. And that's my problem. No matter how annoying a bum is, no matter how frustrated you are, I'm not comfortable with the citizenry, people, bystanders, grabbing somebody around the neck and using that hold for that long. If we condone that behavior, I think that's a very bad precedent for our society. And again, I know how frustrating it is to deal with crazy bums, but even crazy bums have some rights. And that's my problem. He held the hold too long at a point where I don't think he needed to. And that's why he's in trouble here, because it's hard to look at the video, which you're going to be showing in court, and say that what he did was not excessive. It's going to be very hard. Now, I have a witness video here, which is interesting because people are pointing to the witness's testimony as reasons why Penny is not guilty of anything. Here is the witness video.
Right here.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you see?
What did I see? I was sitting over there, I heard the young man that's on the floor saying, hey, I'm willing to die, I'll do anything. I'm willing to die. I'll go to jail. I don't care. And he was saying it so loud that everyone turned around. So this young man, he got belligerent and he tackled him down.
Who?
The one that just passed away in the brown jacket, the one that just went past.
The guy in the brown jacket?
Yeah, you got to see the guy in the brown jacket. Yeah.
That's what the guys in the briefs here. You got a brown jacket, tan jacket. Take him to the police right now.
Take him where?
To the 5th precinct.
So he took him to the ground? The guy with the brown jacket took him to the ground.
Yeah, he took him to the ground and gave him a chokehold. Not a hard chokehold, just enough to secure him in the guy's floor. and he kept holding him. All right, and then that's when everybody totally realized what was going on. And I think this guy's on drugs, you know, because when he came in, he was unbelievably off the charts. He scared the living daylights out of everyone.
How did he bring him down to the ground? Like he picked him up and threw him on the ground?
I remember he stood up, grabbed him, turned him around, and put him to the ground.
All right.
Put him to the ground. So that was the witness saying that he put him in a chokehold, but not very hard, just enough to take him down. And people on Twitter, on X, are seizing on that to say, well, this is evidence. Nothing was done wrong here. One account, Colin Rugg, who I follow, he says this: police body cam footage shows witnesses defending Daniel Penny for protecting them from Jordan Neely, who they say was drugged out. The guy in the tan, Penny, did take him down respectfully. He didn't choke him. Penny was charged with manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide by Alvin Bragg for protecting NYC subway passengers from Neely. Penny is a hero, and this tweet, or whatever you call it, an X now, had 99,000 likes. Just one problem. The lady did say that he choked him. So I'm not sure what he's saying here, that he wasn't choked. And the bigger issue, I think, is that witness testimony isn't really enough. And oftentimes it's irrelevant and plain out wrong. We have a video here. They're going to see the video in the courthouse. So we don't need to take her word for what happened. We can see it ourselves. And if anybody's claiming that there was no chokehold, as Colin Rugg is saying here, he didn't choke him, what do you call this? What do you call that? That's a rear naked choke around the neck, grabbing the bicep, hands up here. That is absolutely a chokehold. So anyone on X saying that there wasn't a choke, that's not true. Anyone on X pointing to the witnesses as reasons why he's not guilty, well, witnesses are often wrong, and what they say is not gospel. And if I were a prosecutor and a witness said that he didn't choke the guy, I would say, well, what's your qualifications for saying that? Who are you? Are you a practiced mixed martial arts practitioner? Do you know what a chokehold is? Can you explain it? So anyone, again, pointing to the witnesses, sorry, that irrelevant, doesn't matter. We have the video, we have pictures. That's what's going to carry the day here, not what a scared lady says on the train. And I'm not attacking her. She was just giving her viewpoint of what happened, but anybody familiar with trials knows that witnesses are often wrong. And I'll probably say majority of the time they're wrong, not right. So her testimony is not going to set him free. So what's going to happen to this guy? Well, he has two charges. He has second-degree manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide. Now, the manslaughter charge gives you 3 to 15 years, and the criminally negligent homicide gives you up to 4. What should happen? What would I do? Again, Penny, not a bad guy, not a threat to society, but I do think he was negligent. What he did was not 100% legal. That being said, again, I don't want to see him lose his whole life over this incident. I would give him the absolute minimum on the criminally negligent homicide, whatever that is, 6 months probation, something very, very tiny. Do not ruin this guy's life. I do not want to see that happen. I do not want to see somebody who was trying to do something good be punished by having his entire life be gone. 15 years in jail, That's horrible. Do not want to see it. But I do think there was a line crossed there where he has to be charged and convicted of something, but very, very small. If I'm the judge and I'm sentencing him, I'm giving him the absolute minimums on the, well, it'll be the jury who decides which charge he's guilty of, not the judge. But when the judge is, if he's found guilty of something, I'm going with the absolute minimum. And if he's found not guilty on both charges and set free, I'm not going to lose any sleep. No problem with that either. I'm just saying technically, I do think he broke the law and went a little too far. For all you guys out there who are, want to defend people in public, that's great. We need men doing that. Just be careful with the neck. 5-second rule, let it go. Seatbelt maneuver around the body, around here, throw the guy down. There are many ways to subdue somebody without choking them for 6 minutes. You do not want to be in this guy's place here in court because you wrestled down a crazy bum. He was going crazy on the train. You don't want to be there. So be smart about it. Use non-lethal holds, or maybe that's not even fair. That is fair because a chokehold can be lethal if it's held too long. So avoid those. Now, if the guy has a gun, a knife, he's actually trying to stab and shoot people, go crazy. Do what you want. That's fine. But just a crazy bum on the train, ranting and raving like a lunatic, an everyday occurrence on the trains in New York City. Be careful. Don't use chokeholds. Use other maneuvers. Take them down. And hopefully there's other men on the train who are men and will help you pigpile the guy and hold him down until the authorities arrive. But, it's just sad that we're in a situation where the criminals are so brazen and people are so scared to do anything that they're running wild. And that is the bigger issue here. We as a society need to have zero tolerance for these crazy homeless bums running around doing whatever the hell they want because they feel that the police and society will not stop them. If we send the message that we will stop them, this stuff will stop happening. And of course, we need to reopen the mental institutions and make sure these guys are put in there and not being released onto the streets, after 8, 9, 10 arrests, they get released. We just had this guy, he was arrested 8 times, released, and then he stabbed 2 people to death up in New York. So the legal system, the judges, they're not helping. And when you allow criminals to go unpunished, it snowballs, and it just ruins society. So hopefully, with Trump in office, we can push back a little bit at the federal level. But unfortunately, a lot of these cases, a lot of situations are a result of local laws, state laws, city laws, and you can't do too much at the federal level. Unfortunately, again, Alvin Bragg is the DA in Manhattan. There's your problem right there. And there are many DAs like Alvin Bragg all around the country who are useless, who release criminals back into the street, and then people fight back, push back, and then they go after the people who are trying to protect the innocent. Very unfortunate. So those are my feelings on this case. I know it's not popular being on the right side of the aisle to say that. I think he's guilty of something. But again, I separate how I feel emotionally and what the law actually says. So I try to be reasonable, fair to both sides when I look at things that are criminal. I understand why conservatives are irritated, but we have to be smarter and not be reactionary liberals and just let our emotions run wild and dominate our thinking, because that's not productive. That is it for now. If you are new to my channel, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.